We are live, and I'm gonna high five. I'm gonna high five you. We're gonna do high fives across the way. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another wonderful, impactful, innovative, creative, insert adjective here episode of the PickFu Podcast. My name is John Aspinall. We have our guest with us. Brandon Himmel. Brandon is the. You go by founder, you go by CEO, you go by top dog. Like what? That's what you should do. You should, because you do rough liners and pep rocks, you should call yourself like top dog, because that'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, I guess kind of everything.
Yeah,
depends
so
on the audience.
Tell people about you, who you are, what you're doing right now, and then we're gonna get into your story a little bit, because it's, dude, I've known you. Did I know you when you were still at the 9 to 5 when I worked with you at the previous agency? And yeah, you've totally burned the ships, right? Like you're all in. So I want to hear that story.
Yeah, so I'm Brandon Himmel. I'm the inventor, founder, CEO, president, everything of Ruff Liners.
Top dog.
Top dog of Ruff Liners. Yeah, so we make premium dog seat covers. Our unique aspect is that we have a little bit of a proprietary way of covering the back seat areas and the door panel protection that provides a better solution, more convenient for dog owners to take their pets on more adventures. So yeah, I started selling this product 2021. I had a beta version of this product. I sold a little bit online, Shopify and Etsy. Really started selling on Amazon. Yep, there we go. Started selling on Amazon in July of 2022 with the rest of the beta version products, just with a few photos from my garage and a 2-sentence description, and product and sales started picking up. Then I started learning from different agencies on how to really optimize Amazon. And I started the brand Ruff Liners in December 2022. Quit my job last year, a little over a year ago at the end of June of 2023. And yeah, for the last year, I've just been all in, focused on an inch wide and a mile deep in my niche, just focused on selling the best dog car seat covers that I can.
And everyone's got to know you're a vet man. And thank you again. I think I said 1,000,000 times
Thanks
for your service. But dude, like it's crazy, because if you look at the number of units, again, this is just, I'm not going into Jungle Scout or Helium 10 or anything like that. I'm just looking at what Amazon shows, right? And if you're feeling froggy, you can kind of say the numbers and stuff like that.
I'm doing a little more than 3,000 units a month for all three versions.
3,000 units per month. And for people watching, this is not a cheap Me Too product. This is not, he's not doing 3,000 units of a $29.99 product or a $49 product. It's into the triple digits, because it's a quality product, right? So I want to know, and I know a lot of other people want to know too. Let me get myself out of the stream. When you were sourcing, right? Like, okay, you have a dog, you found a need, you found a gap in the market. What was that sourcing process like? Like, you found probably something that was subpar from China. Not saying China's bad. Your product's made in China, correct?
Yeah.
So it's not like China just sells cheap stuff. They do, but then they also sell premium stuff, right? It's all about what you're investing and how you're modifying and what the tooling and all that kind of good stuff is, right? So anyone listening and thinks like rah rah America, of course, but don't put China out, because just because the Temus of the world exist and you can buy a pet cover on Temu probably for about $20, it's not going to be the same quality as this. So talk about that process. So you ordered one, you saw it, you used it, you found there were problems. What was that process like?
Yeah, my process was a little bit different. It's funny, I just saw a Facebook memory, and it was like about 7 years ago, I made the first one for my truck. I looked at what was available online, and previous designs, they might be some type of hammock that zips up on the sides, but usually you need like a strap that goes over like a little handle that goes
like
above
this
your
kind of,
door.
like it was
The
I
second row right there, that one right there. See how there's like a strap that goes up?
yeah.
My truck doesn't have a handle right there. And
So
so when I was
what would you
looking
do?
online,
Yeah.
yeah, I was like, "Oh, these don't work with my vehicle." And I think maybe 7 years ago, I tried like one of these types of products. Um, but I had a truck with like my back seats folded up, and my dog, on the way home from the dog park or from the beach, would still drool all over my doors and still mess the doors up because the cover wasn't really attached to the doors. It kind of just had this little barrier that hopefully kept your dogs away from the door. Um, so I literally started this 7 years ago. I went and I got some moving blankets and I bought a used sewing machine from a garage sale and I made something and it worked. It covered the whole backseat area better than what I could find on Amazon. It
Oh,
was a
so
very crude design,
you
and
didn't
I
even
just
go the route of just getting one and trying it out. You knew immediately it wasn't going to work.
yeah, I mean, I tried those types in other vehicles, but then I
Okay.
got a new truck like 7 years ago. When I got my new truck, I was like, "Oh, I need something better." And I already kind of like looking around on the market, I was just like, "Man, there's nothing that really fits my need." So I made the first one out of moving blankets. Then maybe a year later, 6 months later or something, I went to a fabric store, went and got some better like waterproof fabric and still made like another very crude design. I'm not a seamstress. I'm not the best at that, just bit and the unique part of mine is that it attaches to the door panels.
Right.
So it took me a few years of playing around, bending some plastic, trying different ways of using snaps and clips or using Velcro, and then trying to figure out how the Velcro would work with the glue to make sure that the glue wasn't falling apart and that it would last and everything. Um, but then a little bit of a sob story, but in 2019, both my parents passed away. And so when that happened, it kind of made me realize that life is short. And if you want to do certain things in life, you need to just like get to it. And for 10 plus years, I've tried to think of lots of different product ideas, from rock climbing walls to this backseat cover to renting mountain bikes to all types of business ideas. And nothing, I could never think of a good idea that I couldn't find a problem with, that I could scale big enough and be that vehicle that I really would want to invest all my time in. But I
Yeah.
had been working on this dog car seat cover, and now I had a few better designs, and I had a handful of people that would tell me, "Oh man, that's great. I need one of these for my truck." And then when my parents passed away, I didn't get a whole lot, but I got a little bit of money from them. And I was kind of in the mindset that I don't want to just go waste this money. I want to put it towards something that whenever I look back on it, that I'm proud of. Like it makes me remember my parents, and I'm proud of like what I did. So so that's really whenever I started sourcing. That was whenever I went from something that I just had in my own truck to, okay, I'm going to try to sell these to other people.
So then
So
let me ask you this. So once you, at what point were you like what was that fine tuning process? Because we talked to lots of people with like outsourcing, not outsourcing, but sourcing products from overseas. Like, what was that process like? Like, did you actually send the manufacturing facility the crude sample that you made and said, make this better? Or how did that work?
So I made like an email format. I went on Alibaba and I made like an email format, kind of describing what the product was. I made a PowerPoint that was just, using like what you could draw in PowerPoint of
Sure.
just kind of the dimensions, and then a couple of photos of the sample that I had in my truck. And I sent around to maybe 50 different manufacturers. This is the product that I want to kind of create. And out of all 50 of these manufacturers, I just happened to find one manufacturer that a lot of them came back to me and was like, "Oh, well, we hear what you're saying, but this is what we sell." They're just trying to sell me what they already sell. And I'm like, no, 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 no. I don't want to sell what everybody else sells. I have a different idea and I want to sell something different. And so I found one manufacturer that came back and said, "Oh yeah, that's really interesting. Like I really like this." And then kind of we went back and forth, and the rep there, Kathy, she was like, "Well, what kind of stitching do you want to go use over here? Some customers do this, some customers do that." I'm like, okay, well, let's do this. What kind of fabric do you want this to be? Like, these are your options. And kind of, we started going through this for a few months of back and forth of how do we want to really do the design. It maybe took like a month or two of really hashing out all the little details of the little intricate details of how we were going to actually manufacture this. And then I got, a sample. I'd give a little bit of feedback, get another sample. I think I only did maybe 3 to 5 samples, and then I ordered 200 units. And
Oh
that was
wow.
at the end of 2020. And I got those in around like April 20. I started selling in April 2021. And I had 100 units of large and 100 units of medium. And the products came a long way since then. But one thing, I read a really good book years ago, Zero to One, and it's about innovation and creating new products that are different and innovative in a space. And one thing that Peter Thiel talks about in that book is that if you're going to create innovative products, you need to let the customer be a part of the process. And so one thing that I think has always been a strength of mine is that I don't get held up with perfectionism, and I'm willing to just like put a product out there and see what customers think about it. And
Yeah.
so I had 200 units. I wasn't doing Amazon. I wasn't spending all this money on ads. I just put them online with photos that I did in my garage and like some very basic description. And
When you say
I,
online, was it like Facebook?
Shopify.
Oh, Shopify. Oh, like your own
Yeah.
D2C.
Yeah, I just did I started off Shopify. Later I went to Etsy, which sold a little bit more. I wasn't even doing ads on Shopify. I originally started by kind of just putting it out on Facebook, and maybe the first 50 units were friends and family or friends of people that I knew from Facebook. And then slowly I got a few more referrals of people here and there. And I had enough friends and family and other people that I knew that would order one. And then, I'd follow up with them on an email, like, what do you think about it? What could be better? What could, trying to get their feedback. And it took me probably a year to sell most of those products. And I was down to like my last 50 units, and I had them all in my garage. I just got them all shipped to my house, and they were taking up half my garage. My wife hated it. I had like half the garage full of just like cartons of boxes of products.
Brandon, move these liners. Come on.
Yeah, and they didn't even come in packaging. I didn't even have packaging design. They
Oh,
just
it's like
came in like,
bulk, just bulk packaging.
yeah, it was bulk packaging, and each cover came in like a soft bag. So every one that I had to ship out, I had to fold up and put in a box.
Oh man.
It didn't come with the plastic window inserts at the time. I was still manually making the window inserts with like some 3M Velcro tape that I was ordering online, and then going and getting like corner plastic mold pieces and then cutting them in my garage. And like, so every time I got an order, I'd have to like make the window inserts for that, package it all up, inspect the cover before, as I was doing it, and then send them out. And so eventually I was like, okay, I need to get onto Amazon. And so by around July of 2022, I was at the point where I was like, okay, I've gotten enough customer feedback. And while I was selling these, I was still working on samples with the manufacturer. I was
Yeah.
getting changes done. I didn't have the openings for seatbelt slits yet as part of the design. I just went with like
Well,
minimum viable product when I first launched, just trying to get it out there.
let me ask you this, not to interrupt, but at no point in this part of the journey have you done PickFu, learned of PickFu, heard of PickFu. Really, it's
No.
only until you got to the point where you're on Amazon, and then you're with an agency, and then you started going in the e-com Amazon ecosystem that you heard of PickFu. My question to you, now that you know PickFu, you've used PickFu and stuff like that to enhance your business, being that you've done it from scratch, I'm just curious to pick your brain. How much easier would it have been through that process to get started had you had known about PickFu and had that kind of, because you were talking about feedback from family and stuff like that. And I always tell people, family's just going to tell you what you want to hear and make you feel good. It's really hard. And even if they are very kind of critical about it, they might not be the avatar. They might not be the ICP. You know what I mean? So how much easier would it have been from you doing that had you have started with PickFu? Just curious.
I think it could have helped. One thing that when I first started, I had a large and a medium, and the large was like designed for full size extended cab trucks, and the medium was more towards cars. And I did like 100 units each. But what I found out is like I sold all the larges much faster than the mediums. And that kind of told me that there was more of a demand of larges. And to this day, my best selling item is the extra large that you were showing earlier. I went
Yeah.
further in that niche. And so like now, if you look at Data Dive and some of the other analytical tools, I dominate the top of search for like truck keywords. I'm more focused on the niches and not trying to go after just the big broad category. Because if you look on Amazon, the biggest like search volume keywords are related to cars, but those are dominated by a lot of cheap products. So there might be a bigger market for cheap backseat covers that are for cars because maybe that meets the target demographic of customers that have smaller dogs. But if you have a big dog, trucks are the most sold vehicle in the United States still. And so if you have a truck in the family, you're probably taking your big dog somewhere in the truck and not in your car. So I think I've kind of honed in more on focusing on the niches within my category and not going after the broad products, but trying to have specific problems or specific products for specific problems. And so it would have been interesting to see what PickFu how it would have directed me with, because capital is a huge thing when you're starting off a product, and especially whenever you need like lots of variations. And that was one thing that Stephen Pope, I asked him like personal advice. I was like, what should I do here? I need money for inventory. I can't afford both products. He was like, you need to pick your best seller and you need to just focus on that for a while and just sell one product. And like, so that helped me turn some inventory rounds and get capital. And then later last year, I launched 2 more versions, the medium and the extra large. And the medium still does okay, but the extra large sells a lot more products, almost twice as many per day. And so it
Yeah,
would have
because
been interesting to see which product do customers want more, because maybe instead of splitting my time for the first year focused on 2 products, I could have taken and just, I think you need to focus on a niche more. Just
yeah,
focus on one specific product first and like a niche need and dominate that one need. And then once
yeah.
you have that working, then expand your product model and your catalog more.
Because like what you said, you didn't know, right? So you had those 2 models, those 2
Yeah.
options, and at the even inventory, right? And you sold out. But if you would have just had that insight, had that data beforehand, you would have known, oh, okay, I'll double or triple down on this one, knowing that this is going to be the bigger one, right? So I pulled up a little bit of a loaded poll we're going to do today. So I went to Amazon and I just typed in pet car seat door covers. I just wanted to type in a search where you would come up. And I just took a screenshot of the SERP. Now, I omitted in my poll the pricing and the titles and reviews because sometimes people will get skewed by pricing and they'll think, oh, I don't want to. It takes away from the actual intent to buy. I like this product or I don't like this product. They'll often gravitate towards price. So what I did is, if you're shopping on Amazon, which product would you rather buy? And I uploaded the screenshot of that SERP into our click test, right? So I'm not doing a head-to-head A or B. I'm not doing, ranked. Which of these do you like better? I want to see where people are clicking organically on a SERP style, right? So we're doing 1 click here, 30 people poll. I did a target audience. I'm doing pet owner dog and Amazon Prime member yes. Because to be honest, I could even, Adrian, do we have car, vehicle? Curious. Car. We don't have vehicle. Adrian, that's the list of potential for the devs. If we can talk about what kind of car you own. Because I'm curious now if we can drill down to like SUV, van, pickup truck, that kind of thing. Because I think that's good information to have. But for right now, we're doing Prime member and dog owners, right? So we're going to run this over here and give you an example of what that looks like. Good old quick test poll.
Yeah, it's funny that the third product that's right next to mine, the one with the that one. I have my patents are pending right now, and that's one of my competitors that I'm so ready to like.
Oh boy, litigation, cease and desist time.
I got Apex stuff out there trying to get all the competitors pulled right now. So They
Yeah.
stole my idea.
I mean, listen, when you have a good product and a good idea, it's bound to happen. For a period of time, I worked at a cell phone accessory manufacturer for the top seller on Amazon. Um, Hell, I'll even go and show where I used to work. It's IATI, and they are like the number one car mount for smartphones, right?
Mhm.
And they have a utility patent on their section over here. They're inundated with copycats, but that's how you know you have a good product if people are going to copy it and try and knock you off. If no one wants to knock you off or copy you, something's up. Something's going on with that, right?
Yeah.
So I got this running over here, and my little son wants some. Let me show this to the audience. We're gonna get a little bit real here, guys. Anyone have a Bamba or Bomba peanut butter puffs? This
No.
podcast is sponsored by Bomba for my kid. It's a cheese puff that's peanut butter. Does that sound weird? It does to me, but he loves them. There you go. Have a great time.
How's the protein on those? Is it made out of peanuts?
I don't. It keeps them quiet. That's how much.
I'm always about some good protein snacks.
Yeah, I'm about the silence. I'm about the if it's good enough for you to go and do something, okay with me.
Yeah.
But I think it's interesting too, right? When we had spoke when I was at MAG, I gave you some little tips and tricks and ideas of what I would do, right? So for example, this one is not your main one. Your main one is the XL, right? For the trucks.
Yeah.
This one over here. So it's interesting. This is your dog, right?
Yeah. The chocolate lab is my dog. The golden is my buddy's friend. Is my friend's dog.
Remember when I asked you? I said very clearly. I said before I say what I'm going to say, is this your dog? And you had said yeah. And I said okay, because I'm going to give you some criticism. And do you want it? And you had said go ahead, give it to me. Because your dog is chocolate. So it's in a darker color. It doesn't stand out as much. And then I mentioned to you, go with the rah American Golden Lab or Golden Retriever, something like that. So it pops a little bit more. Because I ran PickFu's at MAG for this exact case when you were a client at MAG.
Yep.
And how much of an impact did that one little change that you know of? I'm not asking you to give me exact numbers, but did you notice a change when you actually changed the color of the dog?
So the only reason on the medium that I'm using that photo is because that photo was taken in my wife's Tesla Model Y, and just the way that the product looks in the vehicle came out a lot better. I retook these photos with a golden, but my wife now has like a BMW X3, and the door doesn't show as much of the product. And so unfortunately I just need to get a better one. But whenever I test against the extra large, which is my same truck, and I have a version of this with the chocolate and with the golden, then the test results were much better. I think it helps catch your eye, and it pops a little bit whenever you're scrolling through the search results, that it adds a little bit of contrast. And so it stands out a little bit better. But whenever I tested it with A/B testing on Amazon, the golden it was very recognizable that it ran better.
Yeah, I can imagine with the Tesla, because the Tesla, the angle that the door comes out, it almost comes out like a 90-degree angle, right? Is that why?
Yeah, it's just a big open door. It like shows a lot of the product into the back seat. A lot of mid-sized vehicles, their door doesn't open up wide enough, and so you don't get enough visual of the this is a crew cab truck right here, so you can just see a lot of the back seat and a lot of the product, and it takes up a lot of the photo of actually seeing the product without, and seeing all the way to the other side and seeing the mesh in the center area and everything.
I think that's important too, because how your product differentiates from the competition. Doesn't the competition typically laying on top of the seats, not going on the floor, and your design is where you could put the seats up and that kind of stuff? Would you like an ice pop? My son's giving me some ice pop. Would you like an ice pop? No?
I'm all right. There's a couple of other extra large versions like this. They don't have the door panel protection, but they have just like a hammock design that goes down to the floorboard like this. my unique part is the door panel protection, as well as if you go to like image 3,
Yes,
I
with the
have this
seats where
split
you could.
seat design. Yeah, so
Yeah,
mine works with whether you have a 60/40 split on either side, and there's zippers, and then there's the straps that go around the seat. So you just undo the top headrest clip and zip it down, and you can just fold the seats down, and you could have like a passenger on one side or the other.
well,
Or
that's great because like if your dog's coming in from hunting or going to the park, you have the seats up, the dog's good, the dog's in. But then when the dog comes out, if you want to have someone sit in your car, you fold the seat down and you don't have
yeah,
any issues.
yeah, it
That's
makes it more
fantastic.
convenient to just leave it back there. A lot of times I leave it back there most of the time. Every once in a while I have someone riding in the back seat and I can just fold the seats down. I don't gotta it's only a couple minutes to install or uninstall, but it's even more convenient if you can just fold the seats down real quick.
That's great. Oh, our poll is running. So we said if you're shopping on Amazon, which product would you rather buy? So people are going to click over here. So we got some responses. Okay. So we're not winning, but that's okay. We're getting good feedback on how we can assist here, right? So this person's clicking over here. It covers all areas of the back seat to protect my dog. Okay, so this angle, they're seeing that it's the back seat over here, right? So you're just seeing the back seat and the back of the front seat. I like the coverage it provides, but with this angle, it looks really great. So they're liking the coverage on this one that you can see both, which is good information for you because then if you're retaking photos, you maybe want to retake it where you can see the back of the back seat and the front of the back seat. And then over here, your competition, they're saying both big and little dogs comfortable on it. Okay, well, that's a little bit subjective. More protection, looks more sturdy. The diamond texture on the two dogs. Okay, so now we have someone else saying two dogs, right? So people like that there's two dogs over here. So has that ever crossed your mind for something bigger, right? That's like a truck. Maybe someone has two dogs. Maybe it's compelling to show two dogs sitting on it. I know I gave you the advice of the golden lab and stuff, or golden retriever, but has that ever come up in your feedback or your reviews that you've seen?
That'd be interesting to add some.
The other choices look unnatural and photoshopped in comparison, right? So they're saying this one that chose you is thinking that the rest of them look photoshopped, and these do. This looks monstrously photoshopped. So does this one. You know, we just got a dog, a Bernie Doodle. He's a monster. He's like 40 pounds at 4 months old. So his paws are like the size of my head. So he doesn't sit still like that at all. So I don't know any dog that does that. But, you know, something like this, right, where someone's saying that they like, two people are at least saying that they like the multiple dogs in there. Maybe not for like the sedan, the regular car model, but for the bigger pickup truck. Potentially if a guy has like two dogs. That might be compelling. Let's see it. We got some more responses here. Okay, yeah. So we got some more stuff over here. It's probably going to be about the coverage too. So best angle, both sides, and the whole back seat. Yeah, actually, you know, I'm going to show my dog right now. Hang on.
Nice.
So if you have a big guy like this, let me show him. Can you see him? There he is.
Oh, that's a big dog.
This is a 4 months old. This giant thing. This is Cosmo the space dog, right? The good thing with him is he doesn't shed. He doesn't shed because he's one of these doodles. But, you know, if he did shed, right? So talk to me a little bit more about what's the value prop. Let me close the screen. We'll come back to this in a second. Is it more about door protection from scratching and slobber, or is it more about the shedding and the hair and stuff like that?
I definitely think it's so my product being a premium product, I target more of extremely active outdoor people that like that their dogs get really dirty. It Yeah, hair in your vehicle is a pain in the butt and you can go and vacuum that out. But like one of the if you look on my listing, there's like a with and without photo where there's like a really muddy back seat. And that's actually one of my customers who sent me a photo of his backseat area after he went hunting with his bird dog. It's that one.
Oh wow.
And so this guy sent me this image, and he was like, I just spent $250 detailing my truck because I took my dog bird hunting for the weekend, and we went from like field to field to field, and every time my dog's jumping in the back seat, he's just getting mud all over the back seat area, right?
Yeah.
And so, and I have another one that he sent me as well of like the door panels are all muddy and everything like that. So it's like hair can be vacuumed up, but whenever you got to detail the inside of your vehicle, you're going to spend just as much or more than you would if you just bought a rough liner.
Yeah.
So for the cost of a rough liner, it's less than detailing the interior of your vehicle. And then you don't got to do it every time that you're taking your dogs out. And if you're like me, who goes to the mountains 2 or 3 times a summer, I take my dog to the lake and excuse me. And I let her shake out. But other than that, like I don't really dry her off. I just let her jump in the back of my truck. And
See,
she'll
that's
rub.
that's the perks of having a dog that doesn't have like people style hair. This thing is a poodle that I have. If he
Yeah.
gets wet, it's a full blown procedure. We got to get the hair dryer out. We got to get wipes out. I think we made a mistake in not getting a man's man dog. I think we got like a girly man's dog. I don't know.
Well, as long as they like my dog shakes out and goes ahead and gets that shake done so that she's not shaking inside my truck
Yeah.
and she's just kind of like, damp to the touch, but not just soaked anymore, then she can just jump in the back of my truck. And there might be dirt and stuff all over the floorboard of the truck. But I mean, the back seat's protected. I'm not worried about any smell or anything. The materials are all antimicrobial, so it's not going to start to smell like a gym bag or anything like that from the wet dog smell. And I keep my truck pretty clean. So,
but I think the other thing too, that we just have children walking in the whole time. I think the other thing that was interesting too, didn't we talk about before about how machine washability was important for you? And did you ever have to optimize that or tweak that about showcasing how it's better machine washable?
I have that in my premium A+ content. It's definitely something that in data dive analytics, that it's something that a lot of customers point out is the machine washability. I do market that. I think it's only in my premium A+ content. It's one of the features down at the bottom. So I think since last time we talked, I added it a little bit further down. Yeah,
right?
yeah, right there.
Because I think we did a poll. We got some feedback about people wanting to know how to, hey, Manu, how to wash it. That was one of their biggest concerns, right? About how to wash it and stuff like that. But, you could hear the dog barking in the background. It's fantastic. So we have some more polls coming in here, some more responses. It looks like it's the angle and the 2 dogs that's really compelling these people here. So if I go back to your ASIN, have you ever thought about testing to see if you use this as the main hero image and put the dog over here? Because this kind of shot shows all the sides and that kind of full complete coverage if you put a dog over here. Just kind of thinking out loud.
It's been a long time, and I didn't do it with the dogs. When I first had the product, I kind of used a shot like this and the A/B tested against a shot that more focuses on the door panel protection to really show how it attaches to the door, like the main image I'm using now. And like I said, I think whenever you look at the extra large, it showcases a lot more of the product in the back of the vehicle. The problem that I have with the medium is really getting like a good angle that shows the product well in the back seat and shows the door panel protection. I need more vehicles. I need to like go and own like 20 different vehicles to take more
That's it. You
photos.
gotta tell your wife you need more vehicles and stuff like that, right? But I think I think we talked about last time too about making friends with like dealerships. I know a lot of people in the car parts space. Hang on one second. Brandon, don't have kids. This is the PSA. This is the PSA. Adrian's a dink, dual income, no kids. She knows I call her dink. Don't do it to yourself. You're having a great time, living life. I'm over here dealing with making sure that Muppet babies is being played all the time on my iPad Pro. So there you go.
But I'm going to make a note of that, and I'm going to actually look at other photos that I have and maybe test some other angles.
Yeah, definitely happy to help you run those as well. We have an ASIN review. Adrian, we got an ASIN review. Put that comment in. I'm going to review some ASINs. Brendan, you feel like reviewing an ASIN?
Yeah, I'm down.
All right, let's review this ASIN.
It's funny, when I was at Prosper, there was a couple of people that I was talking to, and they were kind of like really interested in like how fast I've grown, and they were like, "Hey, you won't mind looking at my listing?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure."
CZSQ. Can they just make ASINs not so ridiculous, please? Thank you.
It's always that I don't know if it's a 0 or an O.
Yeah, it's always, but it's always, I think it's always a 0 right after.
Okay.
But if it's further in the sequence, it's going to be an O. But give me your raw feedback on this before I give my feedback.
So first thing, I don't know about the sticker for viral on TikTok. I would go after like what is the biggest keyword that people are searching for. One thing that I love to do is I love to take the most popular keyword in my niche and put it at the beginning of my title. Because if somebody's asking for wild yam cream, let's say that's like the thing that everybody's searching for. I don't really know what this product is yet by like looking at this, but like let's say that people are looking for wild yam cream, that they need this for whatever reason. I don't know, they have some medical condition, whatever it is. Then if somebody's saying, like for me, if someone's saying I need a truck dog, or I need a truck floor cover, and that's like the top keyword for my niche and what I'm getting a lot of sales from, then I put that right at the beginning, the very first words of my title, because you're asking for this. So I'm telling you, I have what you're looking for. You're looking for a truck floor cover. I have a truck floor cover. I'm just giving you what you're asking for. So the first thing I would do is on the maybe the viral on TikTok helps. I think I would go after like what is the biggest selling point, or what is the biggest keyword that that customers are looking for on this product. Now let me look at the title: organic wild yam cream for hormone balance.
For menopause relief. That's the big thing that kind of caught out to me. So one thing that I would do, like I don't mind the viral on TikTok, but I would want it a little bit smaller to look like it's on the cap for Dead Pixel Real Estate Space. But if it's wild yam cream, show me a yam behind it as an ingredient and show me the actual product itself. Transparency is huge, right? So we don't want to just be like, is it tinted? Is it clear? Is it white? What does it look like? What does it feel like? I mean, you get more into that with the detail page, right? But if you go to Amazon, right? Let's go to Amazon.com, and if I type in wild yam cream, it looks like there's lots of other competitors in the space, right? No one's really doing best practice. So I noticed that it was made in the US, and the competition is showing the USA tag over here, which I always tell people is best practice, especially for something made in the US. So putting the USA red, white, and blue flag on the icon very clearly on the product, putting this a little bit smaller, but then showcasing what it looks like. Because even then, when I get over here, so it's a white cream, right? If you notice with a lot of makeup companies, so if I go to Amazon and I type in, face cream, for example, right? If I type in face cream, you're going to see smudges behind. See these smudges like La Roche-Posay? Hands down, the most monster brand on Amazon for face stuff. I mean, 60,000 plus of what Amazon's saying. But you could see a lot of people are doing the smears behind it. So that would be my recommendation for something like this. But what do you think of this? Image. Yeah, on the main image, yeah.
And then put some yams next to it or something like that.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So one thing I do like on the main image is that they're showing the 100% natural, and then they're also showing the 2 ounces.
Yeah.
So you're letting the customer know like natural is really important, I think, in a lot of these cream spaces. And you're giving the size right there, the 2 ounces in the main image as well. I think both those are great things to have in your main image.
But then
I
they
feel
don't have
like
any.
the title is missing out on some indexing.
Yeah,
That
I mean,
there's a lot of
yeah, by saying Dr. Barbara O'Neill recommended, how many people are really searching for Dr. Barbara O'Neill recommended, right? Versus what other words for menopause, what kind of search for menstrual cramps, and what are those other search terms that you would use something like a Jungle Scout, a Helium 10, a Data Dive to go
yeah.
into and find those keywords that are super important and super searchable.
And one thing that I've tested and I found some good results with is moving around the order of my main title. So, like with my product, it's compatible with different vehicle types. And so, moving those vehicle types from the end closer, because a lot of this title gets cut off in the search results. So, if you put for hot, like that part that's at the end, if you go back to theirs real quick, if you
Yeah.
put for hot flashes, menstrual cramps, night sweats, and made in USA, and you move that up to go right after PMS, you might see like better click-through rate right there because you're telling customers what it's for and that it's made in the US. And that might, I don't know how many characters it is off the top of my head that gets cut off. But
Yeah, because they get truncated, right? Especially when you go down to something like this on the SERP, it's going to get hit off. So what you're saying is if you show like all that pertinent stuff in the front end and not
yeah.
the tail end, that's what's going to get you the better click-through rate for sure. No, I 100% agree. But yeah, who was that? Was that Nabil? Definitely reach out to us because we have some tips and tricks for you. Because I know I believe you ran a PickFu poll before, but we definitely have some tips and tricks to assist you with that. But let's go back to this here. Okay, so you can see, yeah, these guys got a lot of clicks. So what we gather from this quick PickFu click test, Brandon, is we got to work on two things potentially. I'm not telling you how to run your business, but your business is doing well, very well, as a matter of fact. But ways to get some more leg up on the competition is show better angle for full coverage where you can, and then also experiment with two dogs. That sounded weird, but experiment in photography with two dogs and putting two dogs in photos.
Yeah, for sure.
Nabil says, give it a try. Thanks so much for the insights. No, absolutely. But yeah, Brandon, I mean, dude, whenever I talk to people about like leaving my 9 to 5 and I hear this kind of, I always think of you. I always think of you and the success that you've had with this. And I really feel like you're growing in the e-com space. And I know you're going to more shows and you're connecting with more people and you're really fine-tuning your craft and understanding more. But my question is this: what's the next plan? Is it expanding ASINs, keeping on what we're keeping on? Are you going to like a Target or Walmart? What's the next steps look like for you?
So, in the next couple of days, I need to actually check shipments right now. I have 2 new ASINs that are releasing. It's like a hard, what they call a seat extender version. So it makes it all flat in the back seat and makes it larger space. So I have 2 new products, a large and a medium of that releasing. With rough liners, I want to go after niche needs. So a lot of competitors, they have like one size fits all products. They just have like a one size backseat hammock that's supposed to fit a lot of vehicles. And there might be a handful of vehicles that it fits perfect. And then some it's too big and too small. I want to build out a catalog. So right now, my best selling is my extra large crew cab version. I have a quad cab version that I'm about to order inventory on that'll launch before Q4. I'm making a version for mid-size trucks, specifically targeting like Tacomas. I'm going to come out with a version for Jeeps. And there's a really good book I read last year by Alex Hormozy, $100 million offers. And one thing he talks about is solve specific problems for people. Whenever someone's looking for, I have a Jeep and I'm looking for a dog backseat cover for my Jeep, and I have a product that's specifically made for Jeeps and it has photos with Jeeps, then it raises their confidence that this product is going to solve their problem. So that it should increase
100%.
conversion rate, and they might even be willing to spend more money on your product because there's not any second guessing. Oh, I don't know, is this dog seat cover really going to work in my Jeep because my Jeep's like this or that, or I don't have a handle above. And so I'm really trying to build out a catalog of more products that specifically solve specific customer needs for their different vehicle types or their use cases.
I think a lot of people get scared away from that because they want to have something for everybody. So a lot of people don't want to. They want to. Oh, what if I do the Jeep thing and there's not enough Jeep owners, or what if I do the Tacoma thing? There's not enough Tacoma owners, and they go for that universal commoditized product. But it's clear that that's not what people want, and it's about testing and seeing before you invest to make sure that it's proper and correct. Oh, I totally agree. Are you on Target or Walmart now?
We're working on Walmart.com right now. I just redesigned. We're in the final stages of redesigning the website as well, and we just started Google Ads to start pushing traffic to Amazon.
Nice.
And
have you heard of a negative ACOS?
A negative ACOS?
Yes. So our friends over at Pixel Me by Carbon 6 talk about potentially you can get a negative ACOS, because if you're running Google Ads to your Amazon listing and you're getting the affiliate kickback from the Google Ads, right? Sometimes that offsets the cost of the ads themselves. So that's interesting to think about. Definitely think about that, because there's a lot of ways to leverage Google with Amazon.
Yeah, so we're going to start slow on Walmart.com. I am hoping to venture out into retail. We're also looking at, my operations managers looking at, right now I'm just Amazon North America, but all my inventory's in United States. So we're looking at actually doing FBA out of Canada, trying to get over into Europe, FBA. I've had lots of customers email me that they want to order in Europe as well. So I'm finally at the point where I'm catching up to demand. I have more products that I need to launch, but I'm also trying to get in a few more marketplaces. I just want to be anywhere in the purchasing funnel. Whenever customers are purchasing, whether they're looking on Google or they're in Walmart or they're in Europe or Australia, I want to be where the customers are looking to purchase my product. I'm not the highest volume product because I am a premium product, but I find that whenever customers are considering purchasing products, if they're able to consider my product, I'm able to profitably sell a premium product. And so I'm not going to be everybody's cheap product that they want.
But that's okay.
I just need to be there.
But that's okay. Last thing I'm going to ask you, and then we're going to end it on this. Are you running a Prime Day deal?
Yeah, we have. We're running 20% off on the products that we currently have, and then the new seat extenders won't be at FBA yet, but we'll be running FBM sales with about a week lead time out of my 3PL. And so we have a 5% coupon on the new products that are launching right now. They're already marked down because when I first launch products, I always start at a lower price just to start getting some volume moving, and then we kind of see where the right price is going to be at.
Awesome. Well, Brandon, man, I wish you, thanks for hopping on again, but I wish you a very lucrative and wonderful Prime Day. I have my fingers crossed for an above ground pool that's not going to explode when my kids get in it with water. So we're hoping for that. And then fingers crossed for a Kindle, because they never have Kindles as cheap as they do have like Echoes and Alexas and all that kind of stuff. But again, man, thank you for hopping on. Guys, if you're watching, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. We are here every Thursday. Maybe with or without the kids. I don't know. It's a gamble. Every week you may see kids, you may see dogs, you may see Adrian pop in. It's summertime. I cannot wait for school. Do you hear me, Internet? I cannot wait for school to start again. But it's been real, Brandon. I look forward to seeing you at the next couple of events that you're at. And thanks again.
Y'all have a good one. Bye.